Welcome to Dreams Inspire Reality Podcast with Tara Darnley, a podcast for creatives looking to turn their dreams into reality with practical strategic steps from everyday people and entrepreneurs who are living their best lives possible.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Dreams Inspire Reality Podcast, and I'm your host, Tara Darnley. And I am so excited. This is my very first episode, and I have a very special guest with me today, the person who actually inspires me to live my dreams and who I actually loving and living life with, and who challenges me, motivates me, and all that good stuff. My husband of 5 years, right?
11 years. 11 years. 11 years been together and 5 years officially married.
But I said my husband.
Okay.
See, and that's the real behind it. Like, we're always like, yeah. So
that was a very, 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 very good intro. I love it. Thank you.
That was a very good intro. Well, I'm excited to have you on today, love. And the reason I chose you to be my first guest is to share a story with our audience of, why we started this podcast. And even though I'm saying I'm mostly going to be doing the interviews and having amazing guests on. But my husband is always behind the scenes, just making sure everything goes well and keeping me in tune. So all the amazing content you'll be hearing, he has a lot to do with it. So welcome to the show, Carl.
Thank you for having me, babe.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine. And yourself?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you. So, guys, let's be honest. We actually recorded this episode several times, and it's just never perfect, but we're just going to let this one go, and hopefully you guys will learn a lot about us by the end of this podcast. So just a little bit of backstory about us. We co-founded a company together called Darnley & Co., and that is our first business, which is a baby product line, and we create innovative products for baby and children. And that company was inspired by our daughter, Alethea, who at the time, 2 months old, when we just became new parents, she began teething, and there was nothing on the market for her to self-soothe herself. And so my husband came up with an idea for a teething mitten. So that's when the Yummy Mitt teething mitten was born. And we went ahead, we patented, we trademarked it, brought it to market in 3 months.
I would give that to you. You patented it. You trademarked it.
Well, we did it. Well, I used his.
Because I was busy. I was busy at work. But I had to take paternity leave. And yes, man, you could get paternity leave for your children.
Yes, you did. You took paternity leave, and you were able. Okay, so let's go back. So we just had a daughter. And at the time, we had both decided that I would stay home, be a stay-at-home mom.
Yes. And
that would be best for our family structure in terms of just having someone there with our daughter constantly. And so that was the plan, right? And my husband took 3 months off paternity leave to just spend time with us and bond with the baby. And within that time frame, that's when she started teething around 2 months. And he was home, and he saw... we were so frustrated because it was like she was a perfect baby. She was always happy, always smiling. And then that stage happened so early. She wasn't able to, we weren't able to do anything about it. And out of frustration, my husband came up with the idea of a teething mitten. And to this day, we always hear parents say, why didn't I think of that?
Yes, it's such a genius idea. Because, her gloves was always soaked. She always had her hand in her mouth, and, she was always just frustrated. Those little cheap mittens that she had was so soaked. So I was like, it doesn't have to be a better way. So, I went online, I Googled, researched, couldn't find anything at the time. So and learning from previous experience of always having an idea and never acting upon it, and then walking into the store and seeing the idea that you had in your head is in the store. You're like, man, why didn't I just follow through with my idea and just do it? So we didn't want that opportunity to slip us past at this time. So
that's so true. We've literally seen tons of ideas that's, that we had in our head or we talked about, and a few months later or a year later, whenever we would go to the store and we'll see it. And so my husband was very persistent in saying, you know what, honey, let's really follow through on this project.
Yes, because my wife was like, another idea again.
Yes.
So she was very skeptical at first, but I'm so happy that she actually followed through and believed in the idea, and by her doing that, and that's how she was able to execute and made it what it is.
And I was only skeptical because we both, especially my husband, he'd had plans or ideas with everyone else except me, right? Yep. So he always had this friend, and like, oh, me and my friend have this idea, and I would always support him on any dreams he had. And,
that's so true.
And I would say, go for it, and then it would just never follow through because they never followed through. And so for this idea, I was like, you know what?
Or they have their own agendas,
just not a good partnership. Yeah. And so with this idea, I was like, okay, I'm willing to, take the risk with you, and I'm willing to put in the work and get this idea, and turn it into reality.
And I don't know if I've ever told you, I'm very, very proud of you for actually taking the initiative to do that, because if it wasn't for those, long nights, you're up doing it and you didn't know nothing about starting a business. None of us did. And this was something totally out of our comfort zone. So I want to tell you, thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. This is definitely for our family as a whole. So I don't mind taking the bullet. And like my husband said, the first couple of months. So, of course he had to go back to work because the bills don't pay themselves with our dreams. That's true. And so one of us had to go back to work. So my husband decided to go back to work, and he did. And so at the time, my daughter was now 3 months old. So I was nursing, had to stay up at times late in the night just to be able to do the work and do the research, because throughout the day, I just gave her the entire day. I'm still trying to figure out how to be a mom. So everything was fairly new. And so the only time I had to work on this project was in the nighttime.
And I basically come home and just make the decision. Yes, no, okay, let's do this.
And you still do that. You still do that. Just makes the decision.
And also too, she I gave her a budget that she had to work with. So
let's talk about that, because a lot of people have dreams and they have reality, right? But they don't have the necessary funds to fund their dreams or even get it off the floor. So my husband, he is a saver. So at that time, he had saved quite a bit.
Financial advisor too.
Yes. He had saved quite a bit, not just for, the decision that we had made for me to be a stay-at-home mom, but enough to have us for a while. And so he said, okay, I'm willing to invest $10K into the business, but you can't just spend it on whatever. We have to be careful we don't make any mistakes. We have to be precise. Everything, we just had to make sure everything was on point. So we didn't waste that money. Well, I didn't waste that money that I was given. And so you gave me that budget. But the good thing that you didn't do was you didn't give everything to me at once. He gave me an increment. So we would say, okay, what can I do myself versus what do I really need to outsource? So the first thing, what was the first thing we need to outsource? Is the design of the mitten.
We spent a pretty good amount of money working on the design. We did the design, and then that for that type of money that we had, you need lawyers to be able to do the patent, trademark. So having that money and doing the design, prototype, and all this stuff is not really a lot of money.
Yeah. So with little to no money, in that sense of the $10K, we had a choice: either pay a lawyer, which a normal lawyer for a patent or trademark anywhere from $5 to $10K or up,
That's pretty much the budget blown there.
And so that would be, just a budget. So we wouldn't have money to actually manufacture the product.
Yeah.
So I did some research and I was like, okay, I'm able to, this is fairly easy for me at the time. And I don't advise it to everyone, but at the time after doing research, I was okay, I should be able to do this. And I was able to secure our patent and secure our trademarks.
But also to leaving that in your hands and like knowing how you are and how meticulous you are. And I know that whenever, you value something and you really, very interested in something that, you put your mind to it, like you could do it. And that's to me observing you as a husband and like knowing your capabilities, seeing you, doing stuff like even when you were, working with children at the time and how you would come home and do, basically, fix the curriculum for them. So I knew like you had that in you. So that was me knowing that and just had to, cultivate it and bring it out. And same as what I need. So vice versa.
Yeah, so we literally played upon each other's strengths and weaknesses to grow this business. And so let me just fast forward. So we were able to secure the patents and everything. And then we found a great manufacturer. We worked with them. They were able to get the first prototype correctly.
Man, it was so.
Everything
it was amazing.
It was literally God sent. Like everything was God sent. And even before I move on, to share with you guys further, that has been the number one thing for us, just keeping God first. Like that's our foundation with every single decision that we've made. That has made us this successful today is because we've kept him first and we've listened to him throughout every ordeal.
And even like, I know this podcast is about dreams inspire reality. And, some of the dreams we are living, we're not living all of them. And we're always trying to grow and it's always a challenge. Yeah, it's always a room for growth. So we never want to ever stop growing. So that's the beautiful thing about it. And that's what also birthed this podcast.
Yeah. And so once we got the product on the market, of course there were challenges. And now I'll discuss some of the challenges in another episode. But for the most part, it just took off. We had one person that we reached out to, and they were so awesome in posting on their social media. They had over 1 million followers at a time in Instagram. Instagram was fairly new.
I remember that.
And the person, she posted her baby using the product. And we got so many orders that day. I think we got 700 orders in one day. And because she was international, we got orders from all over the world.
But that is the what you call it, that's the bright side of the story. What about the negative side of the story? People not looking at the product like, what is that? Or we don't need a teeter mitten. What is that?
Yes, I guess that goes into market research and figuring out your audience. And of course, we can also share that in future episodes. But that was one of the things too. You have an idea, you have a product, you have a concept, and sometimes you're the only one that understands it, or sometimes people will understand it, but because it's fairly new and they have no example of it, it's like, okay, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
And fortunately for us, we didn't get that so much. We got it from a few people, but we quickly found out who our target audience is, right?
Very fast.
And so we just focused on those that we knew were our target audience. We posted a video of our daughter on Instagram. It went viral and we got tons of response and great feedback. Everyone was like, oh, this is perfect. I need it. And that was good and bad because then they needed it like right I away. Need it right now.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, it's coming, guys. It's coming.
Because if we know it's a very time sensitive product because it has a age limit. It's from zero to 12 months. So
and not only that, if your baby's teething, guys, you need it now.
Yes.
And so that was one of the the good and negative things that happened along the way. But for our launch, everything was just amazing. We got featured on Steve Harvey's show. within the first 3, like before the product even came out, we got featured on the Steve Harvey show.
It was basically arriving here.
Yeah. And so even that was funny because we didn't have any products while we were on the show. And so,
I mean, you had samples to show, but
products for when the customer ordered to sell.
The production.
Yeah. So those are all the challenges that just came with launching a new product, a new idea, creating a new category for the marketplace. But it was fun. It was definitely fun. And just having my daughter experience everything at the time, it was amazing. She still remembers like those little details today. So just having those experiences with her was amazing. So I think that pretty much, of course, like I said, there's tons more tips and advice we'll give about our company and like what you can do to, launch a new product into the marketplace. But that's pretty much like, how we started Darnley & Co. Now we have several other products, from sippy cups to bowls to apparel for babies. So we've definitely grown.
Yes. Mine is always working in the back in the queue. I always have stuff in the queue ready to go.
Yes. I literally, if I have an idea, I'm like, babe, I have an idea for this, and I'll probably tell him how I want it, and he'll sketch it out and he'll bring it to life. So I think that's how we work as a team. There's definitely pros and cons to being married, being in business, having kids.
We have learned a lot.
And we're still learning. We're definitely still learning every day how to be good parents, how to be good business partners, how to continue to love each other and not like.
Yeah, because we work together a lot, so
24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours a day. So I don't know if anyone has ever worked with their significant other.
Yeah.
So you may think like, oh, you get to work together, it's so cool. Like, oh my God. Sometimes you can't stand each other because your ideas and the things you want to implement for the day, you basically butt heads. So and you always have to revert back to the foundation of your marriage first, and don't let the business get the best of you guys. So that's something we've been learning. Also, we have the kids. We have to, basically figure out the schedule for them, and also they work with us in the business. So that's one of the beautiful thing of having your own businesses, to be able to have your family with you. But sometimes you have to learn how to balance those things, and that's something we're working on and we're learning because we're new to this. We're new entrepreneurs, new parents. But we're not new as a couple. But so that brought a whole new challenge to our relationship and our life. But it's beautiful. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's true. I wouldn't trade it for the world either. And how we got to the podcast. Okay, so we've had this idea for Dreams Inspire Reality for a while. My husband purchased the domain. He had it. He loved the name. He was like, you need to trademark it. This like everyone always says, dreams inspire reality.
Yeah, can I expound upon it? Can I?
Sure.
So, in the name itself is so simple. Dreams inspire reality. Everything that you do in life, any goals or aspiration you have, it always start in your mind as a dream. That's where the concept, the inception of the thought begins. Is a dream first, and then in order to carry that dream, you have to have some type of inspiration. So the inspiration is your driving factor, is the thing that drives you in order to execute that dream that you have into reality and make it tangible, where somebody could touch it, or you could touch it, and people could see that dream, that concept that you had in your mind come to life. So that's what dreams inspire reality basically means.
Yeah, that's exactly what Dreams Inspire Reality is. And we had that domain for a while. It started as a blog. And then a good friend of mine, she was like, why don't you turn it into a podcast?
Yes.
You like talking. You have amazing friends.
I know.
And that's why he won't be on the podcast as much. He'll probably do a few guest features with me. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I should do that, because I always get tons of DMs, tons of messages, tons of emails asking, how did we start, tips, advice. And I've helped a lot of my friends just find structure in and strategies and taking their business to the next level. But I wanted to do that on a broader platform where I can just tell everyone the same thing I'm sharing with my friends in a conversation. And hopefully you guys could execute and take those steps and take your business to the next level. I don't believe in not sharing knowledge because it's free, right? It's just about, okay, if I use something in my business and it worked, maybe I could tell you and it will work in yours, maybe it'll not. Or if I had made a mistake, maybe I can tell you, and then you're going to learn from that mistake and avoid that mistake.
And there's also there's strength in sharing. You always have to be leery of people that don't want to share. It's always strength in sharing. Sharing is very good to let people learn from your mistakes and basically find that, not saying use your exact strategy, but basically use what you've learned or that you're sharing with them to be able to carve out their own path and be able to execute and make their dreams become a reality. And this is what this podcast is to do, is to basically encourage those entrepreneurs and the listening audience to, whatever you may have, just have that dream and let it inspire you and let it become a reality. This is what it's about.
And we're excited again about this. We have some amazing guests coming on. We've done some amazing interviews, and I'm telling you guys, I've learned so much from the guests that have been on. So I'm sure you guys are going to learn a ton too. And I really wanted to focus on entrepreneurs, on the up and coming, on that's really out there grinding, that's really about to break through. And they've learned a lot of lessons, whether it's okay, I shouldn't have done that, or this definitely worked for my business. You guys should be doing this for sure. Those are the people I wanted to talk to, not necessarily focusing on, people who are making 6-7 figures and they're just selling you a dream, but they're not selling you the reality.
And practicality.
Yes. I wanted to give both.
And not only that too, when you get to a certain level, you never forget where you come from, and always never forget that you were once in the place where those entrepreneurs are. So you never look down on the people that's in the up and coming. You always have to be able to encourage them and make sure and give them the guide to say, okay, you're on the right path or not on the right path. You just basically encourage them, give them that boost, give them that helping hand.
And even though we're talking to mostly entrepreneurs, I think anyone could basically listen to this podcast and learn so much because, as we mentioned earlier, my husband, he still worked on his 9-to-5, and his 9-to-5 was, what helped build our company faster because we still had income coming in to be able to pay our rent, pay our bills, be able to eat. We had a new baby. She needed diapers. So it definitely helped us to get to where we're at right now.
And you can do it on a 9-to-5. It just takes financial education as far as knowing how to save and how to, basically have that financial intelligence. So
very true. And you've done that very well, in helping our business to make sure we save and and have money to be able to build more product line.
And I don't want to take my wife for retirement from my job very early and bringing me into Darnley & Co.
We say that jokingly, but I did though, for real. I was tired of working in the business by myself because we literally, for the first 2 years, I was literally doing it on my own with a baby on my side. And so I was like, okay, it's time for you to come on board fully. We're able now for you to, we're financially secure for you to come on board. What would you say was some of the, what was the breaking point where you're like, okay, it's time for me to leave my job? Besides what was happening at your job, and my husband was a pastry chef. So what was that moment that made you decide?
The moment that made me decide was the fact of knowing okay, we created this child, as far as the business was another child. Second child at the time, but now we have a mayor. He's but so basically it's basically knowing that you have your child at home and you want to be a part of that child's life, and you're basically helping someone else's business get to a certain level where you could use that same time and effort that you put into someone else's dream. I always say somebody else's dream in business, where you could invest in your own business and see it grow to a level where you know, you were like, you could see it grow and manifest as something bigger than what it is. So that's how I was looking at it. Like, okay, the time and effort, because I was good at what I did there, and I made changes, and you know, they used my ideas to implement certain things. So I said, maybe I will use my own ideas for my business. I wonder what the possibility would be to see it grow and flourish. And that was the breaking point. Like, no, I need to invest my time and energy for me and my family and us, and for, you know, for the future generation, to leave this legacy. Because I'm not going to leave a legacy with a corporation, because their legacy is already built. So now it's time to start my journey and build my legacy. So that's where it was, you know, where it was for me.
I love that. And I think a key thing, Hun, that you should mention, all those things are great, but you need to have an exit strategy plan, right?
Yeah,
you need to make sure
true.
You're financially stable, because you can't just come out with like 1 week's worth of week's worth of saving. I wouldn't advise that at all.
Yeah.
I think some say, most of my friends that I've spoken to say about 3 months. At least.
But for me in my situation, I had 2 years. You know, that's how well I was saving. 2 years worth. So, you know, if anything happened, it was like, okay, we're good. That's how I was able to take the paternity leave, which is not a paid leave. You have to, you know, basically find the rent money when you're offered the 3 months. So I was able to do that.
And at all times, just have a backup plan in everything you do. If you want to, because some people just don't have to leave their job, right? Some people are living and working in their dream jobs. And I even have those people that are coming on. So it's not always, a conversation is not should not always be, oh, you have to leave your job to be happy, or you have to be an entrepreneur to be happy. Entrepreneurship is definitely not for everyone. So I don't advise it for everyone. It just so happened that our daughter, like, you know, she literally just pushed us into entrepreneurship, right? And we just went along with it.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with how we named her, I think.
Alethea, yes. Alethea means purpose.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. No, Alethea Naya basically means truth and purpose. So that's basically gave us a purpose. because we at the time I was saying to myself, like, the Most High is so funny, because I'm like, wow, she like really came and like changed the whole trajectory of life, and the purpose changed a whole different direction.
Yes.
So I was just sitting back and laughing. I'm like, God is so funny sometimes. Like, you know.
I think the perfect line for this, Hun, is when they say you make a plan and God laughs, because he's like, okay, that's not my plan for you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened to us. But we are so grateful. Like, we've experienced the most amazing things, like, since this whole journey began, and things that we certainly would not have, endured or experienced if we were on this journey together. For sure. So it's definitely been an incredible ride, highs and lows, wins and defeats, but overall it's been amazing. I know you haven't been speaking like a guest, but you are a guest. So I'm going to go into a fun round with you.
I was a guest, but I guess you was doing more talking. but that's the reason why the dynamic is like that for the business and things, because I don't speak as much.
Yes, you do.
I mean, in the sense of public speaking, but that's why my wife is the face of the business, and I just do the thinking.
Silly. Who is your favorite entrepreneur?
Oh, my favorite entrepreneur? I gotta name one.
Yeah, you shouldn't even be thinking about it, because she's sitting right next to you.
No, I mean, before you, I admire Damon John a lot.
Damon John.
Yes.
What is the last movie you watched?
Oh, Black Panther, man. That was good stuff, man. Very, 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 a lot of gems, a lot of jewels, a lot to take away. You know, looking at it with spiritual eyes too.
Latest business win?
Latest business win? We had so many that I would have to say, right, like, as for right now, like, you know, basically like building out the product line in the store. I think that's a good business.
Okay. The last book you read?
Last book I read? I think it was Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson.
Okay. And what is your favorite business tool?
Favorite business tool right now? I would say Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah.
You have Instagram?
Yeah, I have Instagram.
When did you get an Instagram?
I have Instagram.
No, you don't.
They hooked me up with Instagram.
When did you get an Instagram?
Huh?
When did you get an Instagram?
You remember Instagram?
I'm not talking about the business Instagram.
Oh, yeah, business Instagram I'm talking about.
Have you ever posted on the business Instagram?
No, I just oversee. Let's oversee what you post.
See, guys, and that's what we do, right? His favorite tool is Instagram, but he's never used Instagram. Like, how does that work? Okay, I'm gonna let that one slide. What was the last good deed?
Well, can we go back to that one? I could say Microsoft Word or check Outlook.
Have you used any of them?
I use Outlook.
Okay, what do you use Outlook for?
Check my email.
Guys, if you ever want to learn about delegating, you could just send him an email. He's a pro at delegating. What was the last good deed that was done for you?
Good deed that was done for me? I have so many, baby. There's so many good deeds for me. Like you always, make sure. Like a simple good deed is just getting up in the morning and getting breakfast. Like that's a good deed.
Okay. Okay, that's a good deed.
And cooking, that's some beautiful deeds.
I love it. And guys, that's it.
Oh, what about the deeds that we did for people?
Oh, what's the last good deed you did for someone?
One of the good deeds we did together as a family, which we wanted to teach the children, because they always see, the business aspect of stuff, and always seeing us doing stuff and receiving a lot. We actually donated products to a women's shelter, and that felt so good. As much as required of us, we need to give back.
For sure. And we're definitely going to be implementing that, not only in our...
Did I mess it up? As much as given, much as required?
Much is given, much is required.
Yeah, there you go.
But we totally understand. I love, don't worry. And that definitely is something we are going to be implementing as we grow into our parent company business structure and business culture for Darnley & Co. And that's exactly why we started Dreams Inspire Reality, to expand our reach, not to just only parents, but to entrepreneurs.
Philanthropy.
Yeah, we'll definitely be having grants this year, even if it's a small grant or a small pitch competition. Because I've done so many of those, and I wanted to make sure I'm giving back in a way that can really benefit anyone out there who has a dream and they're stuck and they just want, it might be just, I want $500 to get my business up and running. And so we want to make sure, as much as we are blessed, we want to give back, to our community. And
I know, babe, for me, as being an inner city youth, I know what it is, what it takes to have ideas, and no one is there to nurture them. And I know there's plenty of young sisters and young brothers walking around that have dreams and aspiration, and no one is there to nurture them. They don't have that right environment to grow. And we have so many people with potential that they just need that push and they need that right environment. So that's where we're at with that aspect of the business.
Definitely agree. And since you mentioned inner city, where are you from? Like, what's your background? What country are you from?
I'm from Guyana, South America. So,
and I'm from Jamaica. So for sure, this has just been a ride for us. Two people coming from the islands, and just
who would ever thought that you coming over at what 10, 12, like coming over at 10, 2 different stories. And then meeting in America. Out of that journey.
For sure. We've definitely come a long way, and we're excited about this journey. We're excited to inspire you guys. We're excited to challenge you guys to be the best you, to dream big, to live your dreams, whatever those may be. They all look different for every single one of us. Our success looks differently. Your success might be a million hows. My success might just be sitting at home in my pajamas. So, and that's real life. But
yeah, you have to be true to you.
You have to be true to yourself and just dream big. And that's what this podcast is all about. I'm truly excited for you guys to just hear our guests and all the wealth and knowledge they have. And stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. Thank you, Carl, for coming on. We hope to have you on later in the future if you make time for us.
No, I definitely make time, and I'll try to be on more so people, have a little bit more insight to me, the person behind the brand too, also, because I know the person behind the brand also.
Thank you for coming on. And guys, be sure to subscribe to our podcast. Leave us a review. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us on our website at dreamsinspirereality.com. And we look forward to hearing from you, your feedback. We're on all social media platforms at Dreams Inspire Reality. And thank you guys for this opportunity to speak to you. And I'm excited. I can't wait to just, share and impart more knowledge that I've learned along the way with you guys. See you next time. Stay tuned.
Goodbye.
Dreams inspire reality. Turn your dreams into reality. Dreams inspire reality.
Hey guys, let's give a quick thanks to our sponsor, Dreams Inspire Reality. Are you unsure of the steps needed to turn your dreams into reality? Have you been sitting on that product idea and not sure how to bring it to market? We've successfully launched tons of products and distribute all over the globe. Let us help you get unstuck and take your idea to market with strategic advice and practical steps. Schedule a consultation today at dreamsinspirereality.com.